Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth, and salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Okwai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And for today's lesson, I'm just going to be doing a continuation of, Israelite practices and customs in West Africa. And I want to be going into childbirth and circumcision, right? So, it's a quick paragraph I found in this book. It's called The Hebrew Heritage of Black Africa. And it really kind of still goes into a lot of the customs that a lot of our people kept and actually still continue to keep to this day in the western portion of Africa. So from like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Benin, Nigeria, Ghana, so on and so forth. Last week I had met an Israelite man at my workplace, and he told me how his father, has three wives, right? So it's that's still ingrained in their culture, right? And it's just very interesting to to observe these things, right? So for those who don't know, okay, how did we end up in Africa? Deuteronomy 28 verse 64, and it says, "And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." Right? And one of these places we got scattered into was the interiors of Africa, right? And we settled along the western coast. So these different tribes, such as, but not limited to, the Akan, the Ashanti, the Igbo, the Yoruba, so on and so forth. These different tribes actually still continue to practice these particular practices, right? And how we ended up there was because of the siege of Jerusalem that goes way back to approximately 70 AD. When our people fled from Jerusalem after the destruction of that second temple under, I believe the Caesar at the time was Vespasian, and his sons were actually leading the charge, right? And so that's how we ended up in Africa, right? So for people who think that we're Africans, we're not Africans, right? So, okay, so back to the book. The book is Hebrew Heritage of Black Africa. This is page 26, and it says, "One of the interesting similarities between Ashanti and ancient Hebrew customs is in the realm of childbirth practices. For example, the Ashanti mother is considered unclean for 8 days after the birth of her child. On the eighth day, the child is given a name. In all this, we can certainly are reminded of the Hebrew customs," says Williams. "In summary, we can safely say that the Ashanti language contains much that closely resembles ancient Hebrew, including the word Ashanti itself," right? And I think the Ashanti is actually a compound word as well, because the Ashan part is, I believe, it's named after a city in one of the tribes, right? But I can always get into that into another lesson. But it's actually a word. It's actually name of a city, um, and I think it's found in Joshua, I believe, the 15th chapter. But anyways, moving on. It says, "We also find two cultures that have important customs in common. And to these are certainly that the Ashanti migrated from the general direction of the Middle East and can perceive a close link between the two peoples, if not a common ancestry. Just how close this link is, we can fully judge by reading the next couple chapters," right? Um, so the significance of the eighth day. So let's get into that. Okay, Leviticus chapter 12, verse 1, and it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation. For her infirmity shall she be unclean. Excuse me. Verse 3. And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And it is a significant reason for this, right? And that's something I'm going to get into. And I'm also going to touch on the name part as well, right? So I found a quick article to actually see this in further detail, because people might think of this face value, and they might think, okay, why the 8th day? Why not the 7th day, or why not the 5th day, right? The scriptures say that also that the Most High's ways are higher than our ways. As a matter of fact, let me get that quickly, because a lot of our people lack understanding, right, when it comes to the significance of the laws, because they think of the laws as grievous, and the scriptures clearly say that his commandments are not grievous, right? Okay, this is Isaiah 55:8, and it reads, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. My thoughts are my thoughts than your thoughts, right? So, the Most High is really the creator, right? So imagine you holding a fork in your hand, and the fork is boasting against its creation, against its creator, essentially, right? And that's a big mindset of our people. Right. Before I go too off topic, here is the article I found in regards to circumcision on the 8th day, right? And it says, in the 1930s, Danish researcher Henrik Dam and American researcher Edward Doisy found that which was required for blood clot. They shared the 1943 Nobel Prize in Medicine for this research. The human body has two blood clotting elements. One of them is called vitamin K. Vitamin K is not formed in the body until the 8th to the 7th day. The second clotting factor, which is essential, is called prothrombin. It surprisingly enough develops to 30% of normal by the 3rd day of life. So after the baby's born, the 3rd day. And after that, seeming in consequence peaks at 110% on the 8th day, just before leveling off at 100% normal. Excuse me. Okay, so here's the juicy part. It says, if vitamin K is not present when a baby boy is circumcised, the baby will bleed to death. This is the reason why Yahweh established day 8 for circumcision, is that vitamin K peaks in the newborn at 8 days of age. The 8th day is the optimum day for circumcision because it is the highest presence of the clotting factor vitamin K. So this is a very essential ingredient to prevent the baby from bleeding out, right? Today, when baby boys are circumcised, which within a couple of days after birth, they're administered a vitamin K to help with blood clotting, right? So how did Abraham and Moses know to circumcise on the 8th day? Solely the Creator understands every intricate detail of the human physiology since he made it, right? So that's true, right? Going back to the precept I just brought out, right? So so in regards to more of this custom, let's get Luke. I just wanted to bring that out more for edification. Okay, this is Luke chapter 1, verse 57. Okay, I'll start over. Okay, yeah, 57. Now it says, now Elizabeth. So this is Elizabeth is the mother of John the Baptist. So this is going into the birth of John the Baptist, right? So his mother's was Elizabeth, and his father was Zacharias, right? So it says, now Elizabeth's full time came, and she should be delivered, and she brought forth a son. And her neighbors and her cousins heard how the Lord had showed great mercy on her, and rejoiced with her. And it came to pass on the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and called his name Zacharias, after the name of his father. And the mother answered and said, Not so, but he shall be called John. Right? So this is going back into our customs, right? Because Elizabeth and John, they were actually raised in the customs, right? Um, and this is very in contrast to majority of our people at during that time, that they were not. A lot of our people at the time were not raised in our customs. A lot of our people fell away from their customs, going back to that time in the that third beast, that Greek empire, that Grecian empire. A lot of our people fell away from their customs and became likened unto heathens, and became likened unto Greeks. But for John's lineage, they actually were brought up in the customs, right? They are a part of that circumcision. When you hear about circumcision, they were raised in that culture, right? um let's jump over to chapter 2, and this is going into Yahushai's birth. Okay, so this is Luke chapter 2, verse 21, and it says, And when the 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Yahushai, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem and present him to the Lord. Right. So, this is also interesting as well, because you actually can see she kept the laws of Moses. Right. So why would she keep the laws of Moses if she was born of a quote unquote immaculate conception, like the Catholic Church likes to, discuss, right? And this is a very good precept to actually bring out as well, to actually remind people that, okay, there is no such thing as a quote unquote immaculate conception, because it shows here that why would she keep a custom of and being unclean for a specific period of time, if she had birthed a son, right? So anyways, I just wanted to touch on those couple things there, right? But this is just in regards to the significance of the 8 days, naming of the child on the 8th day, and so on and so forth, right? And a lot of our people still keeping those particular customs in Western Africa, right? So, anyways, I'll end it off there, but Lord willing, and Yahweh as always, this lesson was edifying. And I just like to give our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.